Crete, and this is south of Crete, in the area that we have along the Hellenic Arc, right here. And as you can see, this is the subduction between the African plate under the Eurasian plate, and this is the area that we have with ongoing earthquakes. It's not shown on the USGS, but we can see it here. This is the area right here from the University of Athens. Geologists, you can see the number of earthquakes that we have here. The purple is the past 6 hours, the red is the past 12 hours, and orange is 24 hours ago. Okay, so all this is the past day, and they're ongoing. This is still 6 hours, all this is 6 hours. So this is what they're warning of. And this is the fault that gave the great earthquake of 1965. As we know, Greece is one of the worst seismic areas in the world. This is a volcanic arc. There's a lot of magma under here. Crete has a lot of hot spring spas. So does Rhodes. And somewhere here is Santorini. And all these islands here, this thing here is Niceros, which is a volcanic island. Kos, all these islands have magma underneath. That's where they have hot spring baths since antiquity, and these are the hot gates around here where Leonidas and his 300 Spartans were. All these are called hot gates because they have magma underneath. They have hot spring baths there. The same thing here in Corinth, Loutraki, which has hot spring baths. All these areas have magma. All this has magma underneath, and we know that these areas are rising as well. They're inflating. So we see that there's an earthquake swarm continuing basically since yesterday. So there's an emergency in Crete. The Lekas, the seismologist, is worried, and the seismologists are worried about the fault that caused the great earthquake of 1965. They said we are in a phase of excitement, geological excitement. The president of OASP, Epthemios Lekas, arrived in Crete on an emergency basis in the morning, who participated in a first broad meeting in the municipality of Festos, which is southern. This is with the area of southern Crete, where we're still having the ongoing earthquakes, and these could be, from what they're worried about, 4 shocks. This could be 4 shocks, okay? So here prepared the first broad meeting in Festos, in the presence of representatives of the Civil Protection and Fire Service. There are clear fears that yesterday's earthquake came from the active fault of Pompeia, which in 1965 had caused a tremor of the order of 6.1 magnitude on the Richter scale. Great concern has prevailed since the evening of Thursday, May 18, after the 5.2 Richter earthquake that shook the residents of southern Crete, specifically the municipality of Festos and Messara, at around 10 o'clock in the evening. Several aftershocks, they're still following, as we see, from that time until today, recording a total of over 25 earthquakes, with the largest one measuring 4.2 on the Richter scale. And according to CreteLive.gr, at the beginning of the meeting, Mayor of Festos informed Mr. Lekas, the seismologist, about the situation that has developed in Messara after this 5.2 magnitude Richter earthquake and the reports of damage. As Mr. Lekas pointed out during the briefing to the municipal authority and officials, in the last 2 years there has been an increased activity in this so-called tectonic sinkhole of the prefecture of Iraklion, which extends to the west and the east. The scientific data collected so far show, as he characteristically said, that we are in a phase of stimulation. And speaking to the Greek television in the meeting, he characteristically stated that they must see how the phenomenon was created, and the main thing is to coordinate the order to deal not only with this event, but also the extreme case of larger events, meaning larger earthquakes. This could be a foreshock, he was trying to say. Now, regarding the autopsies of the buildings, the president of the OASP emphasized that damage was done mainly to old buildings, and what they are most interested in is schools and whether they will be able to function, pointing out to the quick autopsy that will be done today. At the end, the seismologist reminded that this is a seismic stimulation in central Crete. The experts are asking the residents to be more careful and are in constant communication with the competent local authorities about the measures they should take to prepare for a larger earthquake, obviously. The magnitude 5.2 earthquake is not yet certain that it was a major. In other words, this could be a foreshock to another stronger earthquake, as it takes hours to verify. However, the phenomena due to smaller aftershocks seem to be calming down. By decision of the municipal authority, all schools will remain closed Friday today for safety reasons and in order to check for any damage from the seismic process. Seismologist Gerasimos Papadopoulos also expressed his concern after this magnitude 5.2 earthquake that occurred in Crete on Thursday night, centering on Miras, and he explained on Friday morning, today that is, that the magnitude 5.2 earthquake is not negligible. On the other hand, he said, we have an intense seismic sequence that does not allow us to be sure if this 5.2 magnitude is the main earthquake. It will take 2 or 3 days for us to conclude about this. After clarifying that the focus of the earthquake that was activated yesterday is different from that of Arkalohori, where, however, yesterday we had a 3.3 Richter magnitude earthquake, which was a delayed aftershock. And then Gerasimos Papadopoulos pointed out that there is a problem because the epicenter is in a land area, while he expressed caution because the same area in 1965 produced a 6.1 magnitude earthquake. According to him, it's most likely that the earthquake of 5.2 degrees on the Richter scale originates from the active fault of Pompeii, which in 1965 had caused a strong earthquake of 6.1 on the Richter scale. He said it's not one of the most seismically active areas of Crete and the Greek area, but all the evidence shows that a lot of attention is needed, and he added, drawing the attention of the world and the competent authorities to monitor the phenomenon. Regarding the earthquakes of the Gulf of Corinth in the previous 24 hours, Mr. Papadopoulos reminded that the Gulf of Corinth produces large earthquakes, magnitude 6 and higher on the Richter scale and above. And these are the ones that concern us because they also have consequences. It gives such earthquakes every 25 to 30 years. We are now exactly 20 years after the previous similar earthquake in June 1995 in Aegeo. In other words, we're overdue for a large earthquake there. For his part, the director of the Geodynamic Institute, Akis Tselentis, asserted in a post on Facebook that the post-earthquake sequence is absolutely normal. So the possibility that yesterday's 5.2 earthquake, Richter earthquake, was not the main earthquake is extremely small. We expect the aftershocks to gradually decrease over the next few days, and after periods of zero seismicity for short periods of time, to have some slightly larger aftershocks around 4 magnitude. The whole phenomenon can last up to 2 months before it wears off completely. Residents who live in stone-built houses, which are very old, must definitely have them made by anti-seismic devices, or newer buildings with obvious failures to ask the technical services of the municipality or the OASP crews that come down to the area to check them before re-inhabiting them. And it goes without saying that the known earthquake precautionary measures must be observed, Tselentis added. So that's what's happening there. Some think that it may be foreshock to a larger one. It'll take a few days for them to come and tell us if that's so. Others think that that was the main shock, but we don't know. And there are others who believe that we're overdue for a very large earthquake around the Corinth area over 7 magnitude. So please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.